Hey, with the holiday season, you guys need a break from the crowded stores and the endless gift lists? I know I do. You can restore your Zen, and RVD knows all about Zen. And you can embrace the natural power of hemp this holiday season with Via. Yeah, this holiday season, unwind and recharge with Via. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or, hey, embracing the festive cheer, Via's premium THC and THC free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. Via is well renowned for their award winning THC and TH free gummies and vapes, THCA flower, soothing topicals, and calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, Via legally ships to nearly all states in the United States in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry free guarantee. No medical card required. And right now, get this, Via is having a huge holiday sale for a limited time. You can save up to 25% off site-wide, plus up to 50% off select items and bundles. And if you're hearing this ad post-sale, you can still save by using code RVD for 15% off. So if you're 21 plus, check out our link to Via's website in the description. I can't speak enough about Via. You know, I'm kind of a newcomer when it comes to the THC element of everything, but they do have, like they said, the THC-free gummies, and I really like the Flow State one. It kind of amps you up a little bit, gets you more of a focus if you have some work to do and everything like that, and I am a big proponent of that. But like they said, they have several different things that can help you with THC or THC-free, and the flower's great, and there's several different gummies you can try out too. So I highly recommend Via, and RVD, perfect podcast for it. So this holiday season, be sure to gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via in our description. For a limited time during the holidays, like I said, Via is offering 25% off site-wide, plus up to 50% off select items and bundle. And if you're hearing this ad post-sale, like I said, you can still save by using the code RVD for 15% off. After your purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that RVD sent you. This holiday season, enhance your everyday with Via.
Dude, did you know you can subscribe to onlywrestlers.com and keep in touch with your favorite wrestlers? The party never has to end.
This week's episode of One of a Kind with RVD is presented by Get Blitzed, and you can get 15% off your order when you head to get-blitz.com and use promo code RVD. Get 15% off.
One of a Kind with Rob Van Dam is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What's up, ladies and germs? It's Dominic D'Angelo, and we are live here on OneTrueSportTV.com and the Real RVD's YouTube channel. Ready to take some questions, ready to have a jolly good time on Trash Thursday with Lovey. And who's that guy with her? I'm trying to think. We're going to give it a couple seconds. Let me think. It's Polish Prince.
It's me, silly RVD.
Oh, it's RVD, guys. Man, Rob, happy Trash Day.
That's right. It is Trash Day again.
Man,
Thank you.
Day of the week.
It's Pool Dude. It's Pool Dude Day. It's Trash Day. And what else is Thursday? Something else, but we took care of it, so it's all good.
It's all good. Well, guys, yes. So we got there's some regulars in here. It looks like some newcomers in here. Maddie's in the house. We got Frankie Terizo. We got Triple E. We got Melinda. Who else we got in here? Jonathan, Ashley. You look like a new person. I don't remember that name. So hi to everybody. If you have a question, be sure to pop it in there. Use the super chat. That helps things out. But hey,
I know Seth don't come in till a little bit later.
Yes.
Damn, dude, if I was the kind of fool that'd be dancing, I'd be dancing. I love that song, man.
Yes, guys, you can get that song too on Spotify. A little higher, type in RVD a little higher. It pops up on Spotify. I believe you can get it on Apple Podcasts too, or Apple iTunes or whatever. But you can also use it on Instagram for your music if you want to put something on there. I'd use it sometimes when I promote the show. So
how do you do that? You buy it first, or
no, on Instagram. So if you just if you go on your stories and say you post like a picture or a video or whatever, you can do the little music thing at the top. And if you type in a little higher RVD,
Pop up there. Okay,
pop up, you can use it. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I accidentally a couple of weeks ago had music on, which I would never just normally do that, but but you couldn't hear what I was saying. I'm like,
Yeah, because it overlaps you.
yeah. People were like, dude, can't hear you over the music. I'm like, music?
Music? What are you talking about?
What do I do? Yeah.
Well, Rob, how's the week been for you? This we're getting close to Thanksgiving. Katie, do you have any plans? You guys get together with friends? You meet up with family, or do you just kind of keep a low key thing?
I don't know what we're gonna do yet. We got some. It's definitely not the number one priority for the month. Like we got a bunch of dates with different stuff on it that we're waiting for to pass chronologically, but that's hadn't really even thought about it that much. So
yeah. You a big turkey guy or not really?
I like turkey. I like turkey a lot. It's like a good break from chicken,
Yeah. What side did you like? If you're a size guy, do you like any?
Mostly just like mashed potatoes by themselves. That'd be best for me. But I do like corn. I'm not a big fan of the beets or cranberries or whatever the red shit is.
Oh, you don't like the cranberry sauce and stuff?
Ooh, I get it. And the stovetop stuffing or whatever it is, whatever that stuff's called.
Yeah.
I sometimes I like that, but I don't like it when there's like onions in it or whatever. And so that can ruin the whole experience for me.
Oh, I love stuffing. I like the cranberry sauce. I was a late bloomer to the cranberry sauce. When they put that on the turkey, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. Last Thanksgiving question: would you have a favorite pie of any sort for Thanksgiving?
Are there many pies that are considered Thanksgiving pies?
I would say like pumpkin pie, apple pie. I think people do lemon meringue. I don't know. I guess any pie would work, really, to be honest.
I think just your family does lemon meringue.
No.
No?
We never did lemon meringue, actually. Oh. Yeah.
That's what I don't know. I never think of that as being Thanksgiving, but I am a big fan of pumpkin pie, though. I like that. And peanut butter pie, if there's some kind of version of that. But a lot of people, here's the thing with peanut butter, though, because I'm a fan of it.
Yes.
Sometimes they will try to tell you, they'll sell you peanut butter, but really it's like chocolate and peanut butter. Protein bars do it. Everybody does. It'll be like creamy peanut butter flavor. And you look at it, what? It's fucking chocolate and the peanut butter inside. And they just assume, that, well, yeah, if you like peanut butter, you're going to like chocolate. Well, not necessarily.
No. Sometimes you just want straight up peanut butter. That's what I'm. Now, Rob, this is a health question for you. I hear like a lot of wrestlers and stuff sometimes try to steer away from peanut butter. Is that, well, how do you kind of fall on that? Are you okay with peanut butter? Is that like okay to eat when you're like kind of working out, trying to stay in shape?
No, I like peanut butter. I'm okay with it. I try to get lower sugar peanut butter, and it usually has some. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on your goals. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to lose a lot of weight, then there's other ways to get protein. But yeah, I eat a scoop or two a day.
Yeah. It was a selfish question because I've been eating a fuck ton of peanut butter. I've been going nuts on the peanut butter. So mixing in with shakes and yogurt and all that stuff. So
that's what Katie does. She loves making she doesn't call them shakes. What does she call them? Smoothies.
Smoothie, yeah.
Man, it's like so much work though, because she's putting in, like little, I don't know what those little red berries are, and then the purple ones.
Cranberries? Not cranberries, raspberries?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, raspberries, and then and then the other berries, blackberries or whatever, and
I got
then
blueberries. I threw a little blueberries in there.
peanut butter. It's a
Banana.
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is.
But yeah.
I'm a fan, though.
I guess I do that too a couple times a day. But when it comes to smoothies, I'm like, I can just eat the fruit and slam the protein down. Thank you. That was easier.
Oh man, yeah. I never heard the dry protein dump before you mentioned it. I was like, people do that? I didn't know that. Like where you just drink the powder.
There's a lot of time, a lot of dishes. It's easy.
That's great. I never thought of that. Cool. We already have a super chat in here. Frankie Chorizo. He always asks the good questions. Here's a good one. Any favorite matches that you had before you started wrestling? Was there one that really caught your eye when you were growing up that you're like, man, I love that match. That was a fun one. And that got you hooked.
Probably a lot. It probably did happen a lot. I'm remembering. Whoa, are you okay?
I'm good. What happened?
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Oh, am I okay?
I don't know.
Oh, can you see me?
Weird. It was like just online, I guess.
Wow, really?
I guess.
Oh man.
Wow. I think when you moved your head, I heard it go whoosh, like a sound effect.
Oh, really? Huh.
That's
I
cool.
was typing. Maybe I was doing a timestamp. Maybe that was it. Maybe you heard me typing. I don't know.
I remember watching the British Bulldogs wrestle the Heart Foundation. That was awesome. Same thing with the Killer Bees. Watching them wrestle the Heart Foundation. I really liked those tag matches and saw quite a few of those live when any combination of those three. And sometimes Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov against either of the other tag teams. Those were like really enjoyable. That's when I started, I think, understanding a little bit of the story, that they were telling in there. And I don't know if anything really sticks out as like one specific match of inspiration. I think I'll tell you one moment that sticks out, and this is when I already, I guess, think I'm going to be a wrestler, because I remember I used to do this move to my friends. But Hercules Hernandez was wrestling Hulk Hogan, and I mostly liked the heels at this time. It was like, I don't know, I'm in high school, I guess, but probably barely high school. And Hercules had Hulk up on his shoulder in the his torture rack that he does, and he's bouncing him up and down. And then Bobby Heenan's, and Hulk's head goes up and down when he's bouncing. So Bobby Heenan's like, look, right there. See that? He's giving up. He's saying he quits. And I remember that stands out like as a moment. Like I remember being into that and looking at the footage with my friends, like, what do you think? Like, look right there. He's saying yes, he gives up. Look at it. He's saying that. Or is it just him bouncing? I don't think so. I was pretty suckered into that and thought that was something everybody needed to see and decide for themselves.
Man, yeah, it was so funny too. Like when you go back and you watch some of that stuff and you hear Bobby Heenan on commentary, he added so much to different things. Like not only was it just like, okay, he's the quintessential like heel commentator, because he's always like kind of defending the bad guy, doing that kind of stuff. But the jokes he would throw in there, or the zingers sometimes he would have, was just great stuff. I love Bobby Heenan. He added in a whole other element to it.
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Yeah, we got more people in the chat here. Steve Soleil, tomorrow's his birthday. He's curious if you get a birthday shout out from RVD.
Happy birthday, Steve.
Heck yeah, Steve.
Celebrating for the next 36 hours.
Ooh, yes. Celebrate it down.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob, when you mentioned the Hart Foundation, stuff like that. I remember you telling the story when you were a kid about how Bret Hart and was it Jim Neidhart too? They both stayed in character when you were like outside waiting for him or something. Mm-hmm. He was like, "Back off, kid," or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Brett said, no, because you're a Bulldog fan.
That's it. That's what it was.
No. But then I waited him out. And then, like, when they came out of the bar, Brett was cool. He gave his autograph, and Jim stayed heel.
Jim Stadio. That's great stuff. It blew my mind, like, because I would rent the videos when I was a kid, and they had all the WrestleManias, all the old WrestleManias and stuff like that. And I remember renting WrestleMania 2, and they had the Battle Royal with like the Chicago Bears in there, Andre was in there, Bruno was in there, and then the Hart Foundation. And I like blew my mind because they're like wearing blue, so it was like the really early version, like 1986. Wow. And just like a surreal kind of thing. I was like, wow, Bret Hart was in the ring with Bruno and Andre and all that stuff. And I just thought that was kind of a neat tie because, like, back in that, it was like late 90s and Bret Hart was still wrestling and all that stuff. So it's that kind of, I always love those long ties, and like how you talk about like working with Greg Valentine and stuff like that. I always think that's a really just neat to tie the legacies all together and everything. So
yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I became aware of the value in that just from reading mafia books, and that's why I'm always saying the best part of nonfiction, besides it really happened, is that it's all connected. Everything that's happened is, you can connect it to something else. So, you can't do that with fiction because there's too many different universes that are made up in people's minds. Can't connect Superman to Spider-Man unless it's in a crossover, all amalgam magazine, because one's Marvel, one's DC. But with nonfiction, it all like it relates, like that 7 degrees to Kevin Bacon. Like somebody knows somebody or did something that caused it. And so what was it that you were just saying that I was gonna? So I realized that from that, like how just from the more I learn about the history, it's cool, especially when you can timeline people and when you can put them at the same place at the same time. It's just cool if you're into it. So since I'm into the mafia history, if I find out, like, oh yeah, John Gotti was like, underneath that guy, and that makes sense. Or wow, he was there and he knew him, or they both hung out at the same social club. I realize the value of that. So like, I think that's gonna really be a factor and affect when I get my stories out in a readable form. Like, there's, I'm an OG. I've been around for so long, crossed paths with like so many different wrestlers that aren't even around anymore, that I'm definitely going to shed some light on that truth.
Man, yeah, it's a really, really cool aspect of it all. I think, that people make so many analogies. I mean, I think there's a crossover of a fan base between comic book fans and pro wrestling fans. And that's the neat aspect about comic books. If you follow like Marvel and stuff like that, there's always people are big loyalists with like continuity, and they make the references back to stuff that's happened a long time ago. And so you get to see that when it pays off in wrestling, it's really rewarding because it's like real life people like interacting, and
like when you see one of the wrestlers and you see a picture like Liv Morgan when she was in the crowd and she was a little girl.
Yeah,
I'm high-fiving or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, but it's stuff like that's really cool to see, and it makes you kind of understand life, like like a little, like you get and boom, like a real quick story of it, and you know what the story is. She was there, excited as a fan, and here she is now, exciting other fans, and in the spotlight. It's stuff like that's pretty cool.
Or like Kevin Owens, I think he was at One Night Stand and he was in the crowd. Like,
yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
pretty wild stuff. Or freaking Tony Khan watching you in the stretcher match with Sabu and stuff.
It's kind of like like what Colombo mobsters were there that day that Joe Colombo got shot, and it's like some of the guys have their own stories of what happened that day, and it's so it's all relative.
Yeah. The other thing too, I remember when we first started the show, I mentioned Elmore Leonard, and you're like, "Oh, I like Elmore Leonard." He does that with characters in his books too. It's like he'll cross them over to other ones, and it's like you can read those books, and it's like, "Oh, okay, that picks up from that, and it ties it in." I know Stephen King does that too with his books and stuff. I always think that's neat when writers and authors do that too. So
Right, and Travolta, when Travolta being Vinny Vega, I think was his name, in
yeah,
Pulp
Vinny Vega. Mm-hmm.
he was the cousin of somebody in Reservoir Dogs.
Vic Vega, which was Michael Madsen.
Oh, right. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. As a fan, it's cool when it does make, even if it's a fictional universe, if it makes it deeper and more connective, that's always a lot of value in that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning backstories of characters and shit.
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
Here's one I'm going to throw out there. So I was looking at like days in history, like what happened on November 21st, this day in wrestling history. And one of the things was, I wonder if you crossed paths with this person, Mad Dog Vachon. He passed away on this day 11 years ago. Did you ever cross paths with Mad Dog?
Never did. Not that I know of.
Okay. Always curious about that. Because the neat thing about that is Kevin Nash ripped off Mad Dog's leg during an angle with Shawn Michaels. They had that hardcore match.
Ripped his actual leg off?
No. He had a prosthetic leg. He had a prosthetic leg, ripped it off. They did a spot in a hardcore match, and it's a really good match. And it's like they took a moment to take off Mad Dog's leg and attack Shawn Michaels with it. So pretty cool.
And would this be Luna's dad?
Yes, Luna's dad. Mm-hmm. Mad Dog.
No, yep. I don't think I ever crossed paths with him.
Yeah, did you cross paths with Luna though?
I have, but I can't remember where.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that too, but I can't remember where. But I know I've talked to her.
Yeah. She was fun too to watch as a kid. Definitely had a unique look with Bam Bam. She was in the WWE Raw video game. I remember back in the day. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's a question. So before you got on, Rob, I was BSing with Maddie in the chat. We were talking about Dave Chappelle, and he chimes in with a super chat. What's your thoughts on Dave Chappelle? Do you like him as a comedian?
Yeah. I wasn't watching the show when the rest of the world was, when it was like super hot and everybody was quoting his lines every single week, from watching it. But I've always liked him. I've liked his specials and his series. Yeah, funny dude.
He is funny, dude. The show is amazing. Yeah, I was just starting college back then, and yeah, when you're talking about everybody was referencing it, everybody was referencing it.
Everybody.
Yep. Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?
Like Maddie saying, "I'm Rick James, bitch."
Yep, I'm Rick James. What five fingers say to the face? Fluid Focus.
He was getting paid too back then.
Wasn't he? Big time. And he left. He just was gone. He didn't like what the writers were doing and didn't like the angle of how the show was being taken. He just, screw it. I'm out of here. So, and he's a successful comedian. He does those Netflix specials and he makes a killing on those. Like, holy smokes.
Kind of similar to what Charlie Sheen did, but
oh yeah, with the 2.5 Men and stuff.
Yeah, he's making so much money and couldn't handle it, kept fucking up.
Had all that tiger blood running through him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That'll get you the
That was a fun time.
That was a fun time.
What's he gonna say next?
Yeah, right. Because it was like, dude, this guy's living on top of the world, and he's just going nuts in interviews and saying wild shit.
Seems like it was like reported that he was getting like 1.8 million per episode, something like that. And that's like, man, that's every week, and what a fun show it looks like doing anyway. And you've been doing it for 20 years, so you know how to do it.
Right.
It's not like it's going to be hard for you. And yeah, couldn't behave. Like someone asked earlier when I was doing a podcast about like when I had the world championship, did it make me want to behave differently something like that. And I had, unfortunately, it didn't. I wish it would have. I wish it would have added some feeling of responsibility. I wish I would have taken things a little more serious, but I didn't. Like I've never taken myself serious when it comes to stuff like that. And Sabu's always said you can't eat a belt, so more money is better, and the belt's a belt. So I kind of, at the time, as everyone knows now, remained as careless as I always was. And looking back at it, yeah, if it would have made me feel like, okay, right now I'm in a really important position where a lot of people count on me, I need to adjust some things, but I didn't. No, and I was just relating that to what we were talking about.
Well, Rob, crazy you mentioned that too, because literally, like, I did the day in history. Let me pull it up here. Where is it at? Boom. It was 19 years ago today. So get this. WWE announces on their website that they are instituting a new drug policy. The policy prohibits the use of performance-enhancing drugs, recreational drugs, and restricts the use of prescription drugs. Testing would be handled by a third party, and it would apply to all individuals under full-time contracts. So 19 years ago, today's 2024. So that would be what, 2000? It was after Eddie Guerrero passed away. They initiated this. So I think it's like 2005. So yes, like right after, like a little bit after that, you won obviously the world title and all that stuff. Did you notice that? Was that change distinct? Like,
Oh,
okay, I
yeah.
was curious. Okay, go. Yeah, if you can elaborate on that, like the drug testing before then and then after the fact.
It was a big deal. Yeah, it was a big deal that they were going to crack down and test. And we were subject to testing before that. And trying to think if I actually got tested. I really don't even know. I probably did. They just seemed kind of random. They didn't test for weed until then. That's when they started testing for weed. For some reason, 2005 during this, they added marijuana to it, and it was like a really big deal because I was like, well, if Eddie didn't die of drugs, then why this? Why is this the response to Eddie dying? Is now we're going to crack down on drugs? And some people would say, well, he didn't die of drugs, but it was his long-term use of drugs that damaged his heart. I don't know what the story is to that, really. If anybody does know exactly, what causes heart disease, that's like, how often do you get the answers people trace back and know what caused something once you get it, like, I know how I caught this cold. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you have a pretty good idea though. And with him, I don't know what that was, but I'm sure they do have a good idea. His family and people that know him a much better idea than I have of what took him out. But the drug testing policy was a big deal. It was going to be done with the guy that does the Olympics. Yeah, guy that tests Black, Dr. Black. He does the Olympic drug testing, and Vince is going to bring him in as a third party to test all of the independent contractors at whim.
At whim. Wow. Man, that's crazy. So, man, yeah, thinking about that too. It's just, I remember too, like Randy Orton was always hovering around that area, where he would get tested and they'd suspend him and stuff like that.
I heard that's why he shaved his head, because they were threatening to get his hair sample when he passed, because they were accusing him of cheating or whatever to get past it with bypassing with different things. And they said they're going to get a hair sample. And I heard he went right to the bathroom. Went,
I believe it.
Yeah.
That's great. Hey, Maddie said, with the super chat too, he said RVD didn't ever need a belt to define him, one of a kind. Did you feel that way too? Like Roddy Piper had that vibe. Like he didn't really need a title and stuff like that. I think an argument could certainly be made that you didn't necessarily need a title, but I think you helped elevate titles in a lot of ways. So, how did you kind of feel on that? Like having a belt or not having the belt?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like I've never been a mark for belts. I can't tell you. I won't recognize a lot of them by looking. Like I don't study them. Like, wow, this is so cool, and that's something that our only wrestlers association will be voting on pretty soon. Is what belts we have and what they look like to start up start getting the gears grinding and going towards live events. But I think some people need a belt to put them in that spot, to get the people to give a shit about them. And then I think some people don't, but I don't think that's the only purpose for a belt, So, I don't know. If I didn't have a belt, then I can imagine the crowd pulling for me, thinking that I should have a belt, and therefore, they're not doing the right thing with me, and give me a break. I deserve a break, and that's a good thing. But it also, I think, has a time limit on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually, if you don't give them what they're asking for, then I think that you could lose some of the momentum. It's a really good question.
Mm-hmm. And like looking at it too, like when you went to WWE, people obviously there's excitement and stuff like that. I think it would have been a missed opportunity for WWE if they didn't put the title on you, because it's like the fans were behind you. You were another element that you weren't The Rock, you weren't Stone Cold. You had a character like Kurt Angle there, the All-American boy that was like a phony, basically heel and stuff. And then you're the underground element that comes into play that fans really got behind. So I think it would have been a missed opportunity for WWE if they didn't put the belt on you. I don't think you necessarily needed it, but I think it made more of an impact that you did get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could. If I don't know if my first belt was the Intercontinental belt at WrestleMania 2018. Definitely, that'd be a question for YouTube, Chris. But if that was, then I feel like I was still pretty young and new to the company, and I would think almost that I would need it at that point. Like seemed like a good fit looking back at it, as over as I was, and how cool RVD is. And Regal had the strap, and then if that was the first belt that I had, then that's a great part of my story for the people to follow. Fuck yeah, man, he's the IC champion now. So, without that, it wouldn't. I don't think you could replace that moment with something else that would like bring all the people in now and allow them to celebrate and look forward.
Yeah, and so like I think that's a great point too, because the Intercontinental Championship at that time had a great legacy as well, like and lineage, and it's like it's neat to have you on that factor. And a lot of the times, obviously, a big thought with fans is like, hey, once you win the Intercontinental title, that's the next step will be the world title eventually at some point. So it kind of does make a lot of sense in that regard. And like, it was neat too, because you came in and we talked about this many times on here, is that you winning that hardcore championship and then making that mean more than it meant at any point in time. At that point, that you defended it, you were kicking ass at it, and you were like main eventing shows with it. So it's something to speak to that as well. So
yeah, for sure, I made that belt mean way more than they ever wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they got rid of it. I wonder when that was, though. Maybe I had that one first.
You did. You had that one first, and then I think you eventually won because you beat Jeff Hardy for that title in a ladder match at Invasion,
and that was brand new.
And
I was like fresh fresh into the company. I feel like then.
Yeah. Dang it, those were cool times.
It might have been the first pay-per-view, right? The Invasion.
Yeah, that was pay-per-view. That was a
Okay,
pay-per-view.
that makes sense.
Yep. WCW, or was it in? I can't remember. It was just called Invasion. I know. So, let's see here. There's some good questions in here. I wanted to make sure I got it. Okay, here's one. This is a two-parter, I think. Gary Holmes, he says, "Hey Rob, I don't know. You wrestled Jerry so many times, so let's see if this recalls you." Jerry Lynn said recently his favorite match with you was the TV title match that aired in September of 1999 from the ECW arena. The crowd was desperate for him to go over, but you retained. Was there ever any plans for Jerry to beat you, or was it Dream or Raven situation where Paulie always saw Jerry as the underdog? Do you remember that dynamic, Rob, when it comes to like maybe Jerry beating you or not beating you or anything like that?
Yeah, there was only one person that was for Jerry beating me, and that was me. And nobody else wanted that, but I thought I did it though. Doesn't he have one win on me in one of the pay-per-views?
I thought he did. I really thought he did.
And then because I thought that he needed it. We needed to, throw him a bone, so to speak, and instead of just, same thing like when I wrestled Jeff Hardy in WWE. I love wrestling him. But it seems like every single match, it seemed like I always won, like over. And I always wondered, like, is that the right way to do things? Like, should we throw him a bone? I mean, he's Jeff Hardy. He's not like, we had great matches, but I don't remember it ever being the other way around. And I don't know, start getting personal thoughts, like wondering how Jeff feels about that and this and that, but with Jerry, Sabu didn't want it, Paul didn't want it, and I thought, he's the new effing show. Let him go with that and fucking get people behind him, and then just for a minute.
Yeah,
I think I did.
You had to, right? I would think you had to, like, where Jerry got a win on you. That would only make sense because you had such a rivalry. It was like one of the best rivalries in wrestling. So,
yeah, but like I say, same thing with Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, and Jeff, yeah, and that makes sense though too. It's like, Jeff is such a star in his own right too. It's just like for you guys to trade wins and losses with one another, it would make sense too to have that. You guys elevate one another.
It's a strange part of the business.
Very strange. Very strange. Maddie says, I would like to see this, Rob. You could challenge Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. That'd be pretty sweet. Braun Breaker's awesome. The characteristics he has of both his dad and his uncle, it's crazy. It's like surreal to see him because the way he cuts a promo, he sounds like Scott, but he wrestles like Rick. He kind of looks like Rick, obviously, and he's such a unique rising star. I think is Braun Breaker.
Awesome. Yeah, people seem to really like him. Seem to be really behind him.
Right.
And yeah. He's got a lot of high expectations on him. I know that. Like people are. I mean, I don't know how long he's been around. I never heard of him until pretty recently. But but the feeling is there from the industry that he's there to stay, and he's going to be a superstar for a while.
Yeah, and they're handling him in a pretty unique way where he's kind of like he's not really a heel. He's more of a heel, but he's not really totally a heel. He's also kind of babyface, like he's over with the crowd and stuff like that. And so they've been putting him in like just this past week, they put him in a match with Sheamus, who's a babyface right now. But then a heel ends up interfering, Ludwig Kaiser, and like Braun Breaker's kind of the middleman in it. But he's like, he wrestles like a babyface, but is kind of has that heel dynamic too. So they're kind of doing a delicate balance with him. So it's interesting to see what route they take because he's super over. He's super over right now. So
yeah, awesome. He's on Raw, right?
Yes, he's on Raw. So
cool.
Yeah, they're making the most of him right now. He's a lot of fun. And I will say too, he's getting a lot better at promos. At first, like when he would get interviewed and stuff like that, he's a little like more diminutive and stuff like that, a little more quiet.
Diminutive, that's a good word.
Thanks. Yeah,
diminutive.
time. But but now he's opening up a little bit more and kind of like he's really doing good work on promos and stuff like that. So it's a
Awesome.
progress and stuff. So pretty good
Put
stuff.
my money on Braun.
Yes, money on Braun for sure. Steve Soleil adds in RVD beating Stone Cold on SmackDown is one of my favorite moments in WWE when RVD beat Austin. Yeah, that was pretty cool, Rob. Getting wins like that is always nice.
That was a good moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I remember around that time I was beating, everybody. The Rock and Kurt Angle and Stone Cold. And who didn't I beat? The Undertaker, but then they took it right back. But I was kicking ass during this time. But somehow at the same time, skeptical, maybe just by nature, but I feel like there was still some promises not being kept enough to balance it out in my head to where I wasn't enjoying it too much and was still like, day by day waiting to see what happens instead of believing that this or this is going to happen just because they said it was going to. It was a really weird time, but I just remember one of those nights, and it wasn't the night that I wrestled Stone Cold, but he was standing next to me, and he said to me, it was when we were building up for our match, though. Might have been real close to around that time, but he said something to me about, kid, they're getting ready to strap a rocket strip to your ass. You know that? And I was like, oh yeah. He goes, yeah. What do you think about that? And I was like, cool. It was a real short conversation, and I didn't really know what he meant exactly. I've heard the expression many times since then, but I hadn't before. And I couldn't believe it anyway. So it's like, hey, it sounds good. I didn't mean to sound smug about it, but, really? Whoa. I'm going to call mom and tell her right now. It's like that's the opposite of how I feel because I'm too skeptical. Even if they say, man, they're going to strap you rockets, they're going to send you to the moon, I still be like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it. And, I told you stories of that before. That's exactly what I told Pat Patterson when he came in the bathroom and said, kid, you're going to make a lot of money here, which was his propositioning line to Brickhouse Brown, by the way.
Yep.
And I'm in the bathroom, and I just said, if you say so. And he said, what? And he said, if you say so. He goes, whoa, I don't like that. And now you're telling me you don't believe in yourself. I'm like, no, I believe in me. I just not so sure about how they're going to be paying me here. That's how I always felt, even when I was young enough to where I probably could have been a little more respectful.
Well, so do you think that having that skepticism, though, did that more so in your career, do you think play to your benefit or play against you overall, looking back? Hindsight 2020.
I think better. I think that it has helped me because I'm not equipped to have a huge emotional range. I'm not. I'm stoic by nature. I wouldn't have peace of mind if I had a big roller coaster of believing, hopeful, fuck yeah, things are great. And then boom, what do you mean I got to put this guy over? This guy never wins. What is going on? And then, yeah, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. But what's he got the belt for? You told me it was going to be on me. And now, I wouldn't do well with the ups and downs of having that wide of a range of emotional responses to committing my feelings towards something. So for me, it was worth not enjoying it, not being able to mark out or smell the roses, so to say, through most of my career because I was handling it like business. It did take some enjoyment away from it, yes, but I think in the long run, it was for the better.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And I was kind of thinking about that too. And I think that's probably a great answer because it's like, I'm always of the mindset, expect the worst, but hope for the best. And, it's just like, hey, this could maybe happen, but you don't know. It's like, and like you hear about it all the time in Hollywood, and especially in wrestling too, is like you get these promises and things like, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Then
I don't think anybody's going to be an exception to that. Everyone's got to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I think it's overall pretty good to kind of be reserved and be like, I don't know, we'll see. I think it's a pretty good mindset to have.
For me, anyway, I'm not good with emotions.
Yeah. There's some good comments in here. I want to make sure. Oh, here's a good one. So, Bull Buchanan was on Briscoe and Bradshaw this past week, and Matthew here says, I always wanted to see RVD work with Bull Buchanan. Did you ever work with him or interact with him at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Did he have a different name?
So he was a part of the Truth Commission, like back in 1997-ish, 6-ish, with Kurgan and all them. He was. So. I'm trying to think if he had another name though. That's a good question. He was mostly just known as Bull Buchanan because it came in with the Boss Man. He was like his right hand guy, and then he went to the Right to Censor and stuff like that. But yeah,
I don't think I ever had the honor of working with the gent.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so people do add some clarity here. When it comes to Jeff Hardy, James says it says you lost the hardcore title back to Jeff Hardy at Raw, then got it back at Vengeance, then lost it to the Undertaker. So you did trade the hardcore title with Jeff at least once.
Okay,
so there we go. And then somebody added something about Jerry too. I think they said Jerry only once beat you in a tag match. I'm trying to find that comment here. Oh, nope, that's the same comment I just read. Well, if I come across it, I'll pop it up, but I don't think it does. I think that you answered this question before here, Rob. Gary asks this one here. He says, has GCW ever reached out to you for an appearance? Wonder what you think of their product and if you've seen it. They're running the Hammerstein Ballroom in January. That's right, they are.
Hey, bro. Want to say hi?
Come here, Barbie's here.
What's up, hi, baby girl?
Look at Barbie.
It's weird how dogs can. Oh, look at you,
look at Barbie,
hey, puppy.
She's a sweetie.
Daddy's little baby girl.
She's a sweetie.
It's weird how different dogs and their personalities are. Lovey will watch TV.
Yeah.
She does it every night, and she's, like Barbie won't even see it. So things like that, Also, like on the phone, like if Katie's on the phone, and I have the phone, showing it to Barbie, like listen, and she doesn't recognize her own voice over the phone, but Lovey does, and Lovey picks up more on dogs barking on TV, and even there was a dog or something, and she got up and started barking at it, and just sat at the bottom of the TV screen, barking at it just from seeing it too. Like she recognized it.
Yeah,
it's weird that they have such a difference in that kind of ability.
No, it is weird because I'm growing up and having dogs and stuff. Yeah, there'd be some dogs, they'd be like, they hear a dog bark on television, or they'll be like, what's going on here? And the other one just wouldn't give a shit, or like it would just would not hit the radar and stuff like that. Yeah. That's happened.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the GCW, have they ever reached out to you? What do you think of their product since they're playing at the Hammerstein Ballroom upcoming and everything like that?
Yes, they have reached out. We weren't able to reach a business agreement. I was out of their budget. Sabu had told me about them, saying that he thought it was a really cool company to work for. He compared it to ECW and said it was cool like that. And then that happened, and then they did reach out. And what's Joey the guy? Joey Janela, yeah. I feel like I just saw him somewhere recently, but yeah, didn't have the RVD fee, and which is not a big surprise because I'm not priced to be out there on the road full time, and that's the whole story with that. But I am in love with that girl that what does she call herself? I know she wrestles for GCW, but she's crazy, but she's beautiful without her makeup.
Is it Alley Cat?
Tara Zepp. Tara Zepp.
Tara Zepp.
Yeah, you don't know who that is?
No, I'm not
She's
familiar.
awesome. Yeah.
Take a look. Wrestler. Oh, look, she popped right up. Vile villain Tara Zepp. Whoa, look at that. Okay. Oh, she is. Wow, she's beautiful.
She's
She wears like
gorgeous.
makeup and stuff. I like the
And
makeup.
she goes all crazy and shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good. How did she never hit my radar? Wow.
I don't know. She's awesome. Shout out to Tara Zepp. Yes, and I met her and Joey at the same time at some event that Johnny Nerdbar was doing
Oh.
somewhere on a boat. Huh. The fuck was that? Weird. Maybe it was Comic-Con week or something like that, where there was like something going on, and maybe WrestleMania week. I can't remember, but anyway, point is, I met them both, and right off the bat, like, was just like, boom, like, okay, you got my attention, and I love her.
Tara Zepp, baby.
Yeah, it's okay. Katie loves her too.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. It should be a good interview. What was I gonna say? Oh, I like Joey Janela a lot. I think he's a very funny dude. He takes the business, I think, seriously to a good extent, but he doesn't take it seriously to another extent, which is like kind of a fun balance and makes him unique, I think, in certain ways. And he's very creative minded when it comes to matches getting booked and stuff like that, because he fights guys like he fought Lash LaRue in Lash LaRue's first match back in like 20 years, and it's just like fun stuff. And then he had a feud with Sean Waltman, X-Pac and stuff. And he puts himself in creative positions that kind of elevates the GCW product and separates it from like some of the deathmatch stuff that they used to be known for quite a bit.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think it's a good, and it's funny because yeah, I saw that one of the matches at the Hammerstein Ballroom, I believe, is Little Guido going up against Ricky Morton in a singles match for GCW. So that's a pretty fun match.
Yeah.
There was a great clip of you and Guido in a match in ECW. I don't know if you saw that on Instagram or Twitter, but you guys were like jaw jacking with one another. And then, like, I was expecting you to, like, just manhandle him in the match. You know, this is during the ECW days and stuff like that. But it was like you guys made it competitive, where it's like he was, like, out wrestling you a little bit, but then you would get him, and he would, like, bounce back, and then he would try to taunt you. And it was a really well set up start to a match. And I was really, I thought that was awesome. It was only, like, probably about a minute of a clip or something.
He can really shoot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he used to wrestle in Japan for a shoot company.
What was the name of that? You're right, though.
Was it UW or no? Was it UWF or
I think it did start with a U something. Yeah.
But I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing that Gary Albright came from, I believe.
Right, yeah. And I think wasn't fucking what's the guy's name? Don Fry, didn't he do that shit too? I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Severin.
And the Beast.
But yeah, when I first Guido used to be like a bigger dude. Like, I actually wrestled him at an Eddie Mansfield show at Universal Studios way back in 91 or the beginning of 92. And I had no idea that was him. Like, it didn't look like the same dude at all. Like, he had to tell me, and I didn't believe him. Believe him, but, you know, because I'm friends with him now in ECW, and he's telling me that we already worked, 5 years ago. I'm like, no way, dude. And somewhere I saw the video, and I wouldn't know it was him if it wasn't for the name, the name, James Maritano or whatever he was going by. And I was like, really? That's him? He was like 230 pounds. I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know if it was you that pointed it out to me or somebody else. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were saying like, Guido, he's like such a well-built dude, but he's got the biggest fucking feet you'll ever see. Like, and I never noticed it, but then I look and I'm like, he does have huge feet.
Yeah, that's always been the joke was how big his feet are because his boots are so big. Yeah, that's the one thing we've always had a lot of fun with.
Yeah. Oh man, big time. I'm a big time mark for Little Guido. Let's see. Here's something I was. So Jordan says, why didn't they apply the 24/7 rule on you with the hardcore title? Would you like that, Rob, if they did the 24/7 title thing, or would you have been against that when you had that title?
I think I would like it better without, because I was adding wrestling to the hardcore matches. And if it was 24/7, then that would mean sometimes my title defenses would be in the parking lot, at the playground, and really sometimes I can imagine where it could be cool to get creative with a different environment, but overall, I wouldn't want that to be the meat of what the belt meant. And I wouldn't want my matches defending the title to be mostly garbage or comedy, which which it was once. It was, I think, what I saw, the tipping over the hot dog stand and fighting in the ball, the pit of balls and the little kid thing and stuff like that, and sticking the plunger in his face. And it's like, all right, you try to think how many things you can do. But for me, and I don't think anybody could keep up with me, and I think that's why they got rid of the hardcore title. For me, in particularly, I think I prefer my title defenses to be in the ring.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I think if they put that 24/7 rule, it would have made it opened up a little bit more, like that Pandora's box of like, hey, let's do this with that, and like let's put them in this wild situation. And then I
would have a lot of so moments that would take the place of some fantastic matches that I had.
Right? Yeah, memorable stuff.
Yeah, I had some really enjoyable matches with the hardcore title, fighting Big Show and of course Jeff Hardy. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
One of my memories with the hardcore title was Test, because this was like the first time that I ever talked to him. So I must have been brand new when I got the hardcore title. Yeah, but anyway, I just remember so before the match, Test says, hey, just because it's hardcore doesn't mean we got to do all that. Doesn't mean you have to. It just means you can do it. So we could just keep it in the ring instead of doing all that crazy shit. I was like, well, sorry you feel that way. I mean, this is how I stand out. That's what makes me special. I got to do at least like one thing. Let me just do a moonsault off the guardrail. No one else is doing that shit. And he was like, oh, man, let me just, we went back and forth. Okay, easy. It's easy. Just a moonsault off the guardrail. Boom, that makes it hardcore. That makes it extreme to me. We're outside the ring during the match, and boom, I'm up on the guardrail, and I go to flip backwards, and when I arch back, he's like, I don't know if he's too close or what, but he's standing to catch me, and our heads went bam, and it was so fucking stiff. Crack. It was like so hard. I think it busted him open, and I don't remember how we finished the match. I guess we just finished it, but afterwards he was pissed, and he kept. I mean, while I'm this happens so many times after I potato somebody. I don't want to get caught with like one boot on and one boot off or whatever. So a lot of times I would have to like wait and just to make till I see them. Especially if every time I knock somebody out, I'd be like, I don't know if they're gonna be mad or not. And I'd be like waiting until I see them and see what kind of mood they're in. This was one of those too where I'm taking my tape off, and then he would like just come through the dress. It was like a walkthrough kind of dress room. He'd come through, fuck, huffing and puffing. He'd come through, and so I'm like feeling that energy, like okay, and I like go ahead and take the other tape off. He'd come back through again, fuck, and he, boom, and he would just like walk through, and then one time he goes, fuck, somebody roll me a joint. Which this is the first day I'm even, talking with this guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, that was probably directed towards me.
I think he's talking about somebody here.
But what's he saying though? Is he bullying me into it? Is he saying I owe him, like what? And he came back through again. And I said, hey, I said, hey, dude, you heard me say I'm sorry, right? And he said, yeah. I said, so are we cool or not? And he was like, oh, then all of a sudden, like it took all the steam out of him. and then he was just like, fuck yeah. And he was like, man, you got any weed to smoke? And then we got along really well after that. But he wanted to, he wanted me to be afraid of him at first, be like, oh fuck, he's mad at me and shit. I better roll him a joint, and I was like, I'm gonna put a stop to that right now. But that's a memory that'll be with me forever, untest, and with my having fun with my hardcore title defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, our heads hit so hard that like it was like, is he still gonna be conscious or not? Because it was hard enough to where some people would be sleeping. Yeah. It happens sometimes. I did that with Ric Flair one time too, like doing a helo over the top rope, and somehow, and him and Shelton Benjamin, it was like a 3-way kind of match.
Oh,
and somehow I'm doing this dive out to the floor helo thing, and somehow me and Ric Flair's heads went bam, and I thought the same thing. I thought, okay, that was definitely hard enough to knock somebody out, and let me, after I quit rolling and could recover, I looked to see if Flair was going to be sleeping or not. He wasn't. He was fine. That's when I was like, all right, he's definitely not a pussy. That was a really hard headshot.
Dang. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those moments, like I would think connecting heads has to be one of the worst parts of the job. I like that part of that aspect.
Doesn't happen often. It takes, it takes a mismatch, obviously, of people being in the right position for each other. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it does happen.
Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. Gary's got a couple of good input here. Here's one. He said, RVD and Test had a great match a few years later in WWE's ECW. I think it was on Sci-Fi right before the Hardcore Holly match where he sliced his back. So
yeah, I bring this up a lot when people talk about or complain about the ECW on Sci-Fi, and I tell them, when it first opened up, it was pretty good, and I had some pretty damn good matches with Test and Bob Holly and Sabu and Big Show. People forget about that, but there was a good several months, and then I guess it was after my suspension, but sometime down the road, not too far into it, Vince said he's going to change it from ECW means anything goes to one Extreme Rules match per night, and then the rest of the card you might as well be watching Raw or SmackDown. And I kicked and screamed, you're killing it. And he said, Rob, I gotta have I have to have credibility in my referees. Which okay, I get, but not no, you don't. Save that for Raw and SmackDown and let ECW, and also they were watering it down anyway by sending every wrestler there for no reason that was part of a different show, made it confusing. I thought they should make ECW the place where anything goes. And then if you're going to send Kane and Matt Hardy from SmackDown for whatever reason, make it then there's a reason they're there to settle a score. You know what? I'm taking this to the next level. I'll see you next week at ECW. And, boom, then that means it. And then you get a hardcore match, and then it means something, But anyway, that's what I wanted. And instead, ECW became just like any other, like Raw or SmackDown, except more confusing. And that's why I have said and been caught saying that sometimes it did seem like ECW was brought back to distinguish.
Yeah.
Distinguish, extinguish.
Extinguish. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on it, but distinguished felt right at the time.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved working with Tess though. We had a lot of really good matches, and he used to complain that I was really stiff, and then after a while he just got used to it. And that's what he told me too, especially like when I would catch his foot, because he's so tall. If I would catch his foot and want to do the step over kick that I do, that Kaylani does kind of now.
Yeah.
When they're taller, then I got to like jump more into it, and then that might cause me to to put more into it, to kick harder, basically. And it would with him. I remember one time saying, "Dude, I know I nailed you with that step over kick in there," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I just expect it now. I know it's coming."
I'm aware of it.
But he definitely, I had to break him down to get there, because at first he would complain and he'd be angry, and but he would give it too, though. One time he picked that boot up and it hit me so hard it felt like he pushed my eye into the back of my head. It was crazy. It took away my balance. I was spaghetti legged, trying to catch my balance, and Test leans down and he goes, Robbie. I don't know why he called me Robbie, but he goes, Robbie, spin kick me. And I did this, I was so low already. It must have been like a spinning leg sweep that went nowhere. Didn't hit anybody. And he was still standing there, and he says, no, try again or something. And I went, wham, and I kicked him and went up to the top rope, and it felt like, whoa, it felt like in the funhouse when the tunnel was like spinning.
Yeah.
I was holding on to the turnbuckle in my frog, my pre-squat frog position, and it felt like the whole everything around me was going like that, and I was holding on, and then I jumped up. And I tried so hard to just do it out of instinct, maybe I should close my eyes, something. I jumped up, did the froggy, and I came down, and I was like 2 feet short. And my hands hit him in the nuts, like a double axe handle him in the nuts. Bam! It just landed on my face and stomach. He knocked me silly with that boot. It was boom.
Yeah. Test, do you think his personality is kind of maybe what held him back or something like that when it comes to being a big main event kind of star? Because he had the look, he had the presence of everything and stuff like that. And I was always a fan of Test, and I pretty curious about because it seemed like maybe his kind of attitude almost didn't fit the bill of what being that world champion kind of the mentality that Vince would maybe envision or something. Or how do you kind of feel about that?
I don't know. I feel one way. I feel, if he hadn't have died, he would have been a top star. I totally believe that. Yeah. And I think as far as the backstage socializing goes, I think he did it right. I think Hunter liked him from what I can remember. It seems like maybe they were friends, and that's really, what you want to do as far as like how you're gonna want to act in the backstage to get ahead. And I think he was in that clique, like with Hunter. If he had heat with Hunter, I don't know about it, but he was. I learned to like him. Like he put out like a grumpy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
We were always tired, road worn, and all of us, but he would like show it. And I might have told this before, but one time we're at the arena early, like after checking in at 1 or whatever. And he was at catering, and I went up to him and I said, "Hey, Tess, so and so told me that you have directions to a gym by here that's wrestler friendly." And he goes, yeah. He goes, are you driving? And I said, yeah. And he goes, all right. He goes, you go, and he's using his hands on the table. He goes, okay, so you go out and make a right. As soon as you get right, go make a right. And then no, wait, cross the street. And then and he like started getting mad at himself and frustrated in his own directions, and he was getting himself worked up. And he's like, wait, go down this way 2 blocks. I was like, whoa, brother, calm down, man. What are you getting hot about? Like, that was this.
So that's interesting. So
then he laughed. Once I said that, he laughed at himself because he didn't even realize he was doing that until I pointed it out. He's like, you go down here, you turn left at the stop sign. Don't go to the left till the stop sign. Like, bro, do you want me to come back in a few minutes?
You take a breather. We'll come back to this. We'll get back to this.
He was
cool. That's cool then. So like you thought he was well on his way to becoming the champ if like he kind of
I never really thought about it. You know what I mean? Like at the time, I'm in that competitive state of mind, and feeling like, why anybody but me? That's what telling me, and that's what I'm. But I definitely did consider him a top guy, and depending on whether the writers were behind him or not, he could have. I could see him with a pretty good future, I'm thinking, like, I remember he tagged with Baldo for a while, I think.
Yeah, him and TNA. They were TNA with.
Okay. Yeah. I like him better as a single, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like, like it was wrestling him. I felt like I was in a main event. I thought he was a pretty good top guy, and good look, really big dude, and aggressive, believable because he's stiff as hell.
Yeah. I always liked his look, and I thought he had a lot of good potential and stuff like that for sure. So interesting. But yeah, Rob,
I little envy also when I was there, because for the first couple of years that I was in WWE around Test, he was dating Stacy Keibler.
Oh yeah,
she was a cutie, So it's like, does he deserve her? That's gotta worry about everybody. And then later on it was Kelly. Like, man, he don't deserve Kelly. Come on, man. We all love Kelly. But they obviously were together for a long time too. So I remember one time we were in an arena in Arizona. I think it was in Phoenix, Arizona, and this was with the new ECW. And myself and Sabu were tagging against Test, and somebody. It seems like it might have been CM Punk. That's so crazy.
You told that. Yeah, you told that story where he was like, "Hey, you got to watch." He wanted you to watch Kelly or something like that.
Oh, no.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, okay, so anyway, the crowd was saying to Tess, you suck dick. And he said, Okay, right. I suck dick, but I'm the one that's banging all the hot divas. The man said, but we were like, yeah, he's right.
He's got a point.
Guys there, yeah. The whole crowd did. They're like, yeah, all right, that's good.
Yeah, you got us. You got us. Dude, what a lineup though. Stacy Keebler, Kelly Kelly. Stacy was mine like back in the day. Like I was, oh my god, she was mine. Oh my gosh. And like you think of that. So she Test, Stacy, then Stacy ended up dating George Clooney.
Right.
Wow.
Wow, what an upgrade that was.
Yeah, how about that?
One time we were just getting back from overseas, some overseas trip, the whole crew, and we were hungry and tired, but couldn't wait to get where we could get some food. And we were, I feel like we were in Portland, Oregon. So I think we were, but we came from somewhere overseas, and then now we're on a bus, and we can't wait till we get to the hotel, so then we can be free, so we can go and get some food or whatever. Me, Mike Chioda, Tess, Stacy, maybe there's someone else, maybe not. But anyway, we finally get to the hotel. And we get our bags and check in or whatever. We all come downstairs, and then me and Test and Mike Kyoto, we ask and find out there's a Subway, like, on the other side of the block or whatever. Okay, perfect. And we go there, and where's Stacy? And he said, oh, she's just taking a shower and stuff. So okay, cool. So when we get there, Tess is the first to order, and he says, yeah, I want turkey, 12-inch turkey double meat. Make that 2 of them. And I said, oh, that's cool. You're getting Stacy one too? And he goes, oh, I probably should, huh? He's like, wait, make that 3. And I was just like, man. What is she seeing you?
Some guys have all the luck. What the heck?
He never even thought about it. And we were all talking about
this is wild. Oh, I guess I probably should.
Yeah.
Jeez, at least a Subway cookie or something.
I didn't know I had so many test stories.
Man, that's great.
I guess I got a lot.
Man, that's awesome. He was always fun to play on the video games too. I'll say that. And he had great action figures. All right, let's see. We touched upon this once, Maddie, but I'll follow up here. Maddie asked, "What's RVD think about the Motor City Machine Guns in WWE?" Yeah, they're the tag team champs. They won the titles already, so they're already setting a tone for the tag division in WWE. Rob.
That is awesome. Well deserved. Congratulations. They've been busting their ass for a long time. And perseverance has paid off. Yeah. That's the story right there. And those guys are both really good. When I was in TNA in 2010, they were there.
Yeah.
And, at the time, Chris Sabin was dating Velvet Sky.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes they would come out to the car with me, do a little smoky. Good dudes, good group, like I liked Velvet as well. And I don't know, they seem like they've always been ready and waiting. So it seems like this is great, like a payoff. It's not like they still, I don't feel like it's like for the last 10 years, like they still had like one, like they had one more life lesson to learn. And once they learn that, and then they can apply that, then they'll be ready. I kind of feel like they've been ready. They've been knowing what they're doing, putting on great matches. And I'm sure they had to adjust a little for WWE. Everybody does. It's a little bit different, the style, the agenda, especially depending on what you're comparing it to. But anyway, that's awesome. And I think they'll make great tag team champions.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people speculated that they would be when they signed with WWE that they'd be going to NXT and helping out the younger talent. And I was pretty happy to hear that they just put them right on SmackDown and they immediately got a win. And then the next week, I think, is when they won the tag team championship. So Triple H already was like, yeah, I'm going to make these guys like really define the tag division. So it's like they're setting a tone for building a new era for tag team wrestling in WWE. And what great guys to do it that have that leg work and put the effort in and that name cachet, everything like that. I think it's awesome. Alex Shelley was my guy in TNA. It's neat to see that all come full circle finally.
Mm-hmm. And like I was talking earlier about, like the British Bulldogs and the Killer Bees, against the Heart Foundation, and a lot of the reason that I even brought that up and the reason it sticks in my mind is because of the tag team moves and the way that they work together. And like for these guys, Motor City Machine Guns just coming into WWE, but having that advantage of having been teaming together for 15 years or more? I don't know.
Yeah, like 15 years at least.
I'm pretty sure they were there in 2010.
Yeah, absolutely they were.
They were. So that was, so maybe 20 years. I don't know how long they've been teaming, but that's a big advantage to have over everybody else. Not too many people can say they know each other in the ring that well, and it really is a big advantage especially when you're trying to do cool stuff and you're like-minded on what's cool. You both think the same things is cool, and so it's like, fuck yeah, let's do it like that. Boom, boom. They're gonna outshine everybody. I think they'll do really well. And I'm not that familiar with the tag team scene right now, so I can't really say who is going to go up against them and give them great matches or who I would look forward to seeing. But I am curious about that.
Yeah, so there's Tommaso Ciampa with Johnny Gargano. It's looking like they're doing a little heel turn. So they might be the competitors next up to kind of, and they fought the Motor City Machine Guns before in a match, but like as baby faces. So they'll probably like maybe switch them over a little bit, and then you'll have a good dynamic because those guys are really good together too. You have the Street Profits in the mix with Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Trying to think. Oh, there's Pretty Deadly. They're that comedy kind of tag team. I enjoy them. So there's some potential there. I think the Motor City Machine Guns being there speaks to the focus that they're going to put on there a little bit more because it's kind of tag team in wrestling has been kind of almost an afterthought in certain ways. I think in recent years with WWE and across the board, I think too. So, but now I think it's a refreshing thing to take a look at. So. Alex Shelley's a physical therapist too, which is pretty neat. So.
What was that?
Alex Shelley's a physical therapist. He's like a licensed physical therapist now too, so he knows all the ins and outs of that stuff. So he can help out in certain other ways. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty neat stuff.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
That would be a very good thing to know because, when you choose a career like we did, for the most part, you're your own doctor because you're on the road all the time. You're not going to go and go to the hospital and get checked out unless you really, really, really fucking have to. Because you don't have time. It's not convenient. And whatever you can do on your own, you're just going to do. And I've found myself explaining that a lot of times over the years that throughout my career, like I'm my doctor. I have to decide, is this so bad that we go and get a cast on it, or is it something I can tape up myself and stay off it for a couple of days? And you find that when your job is at stake, your livelihood, and you're making your money off of these decisions, you can find you're qualified to do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, heck yeah, man. Yeah, what a tool in the toolbox to have, though. If you're hurt or somebody else is hurt, hey, have Alex Shelley take a look at it and get a quick opinion on it or something.
This reminds me of something that's really scary. El Snow has always done this chiropractor move. I have no idea if he's ever had any chiropractor training. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Maybe people in the chat room know. but I've always seen him do this thing where wrestlers lie flat on their back with their arms down.
Uh-huh.
He will take a towel, and the towel goes under, like he's hanging them, and then he'll twist it, and he'll twist it above their head, so he's got something to hold on to, and he'll put his feet like on their shoulders, and he'll sit there, and he'll be like, and he pulls their head to elongate their spine, and they get up, usually going, "Oh yes, thank you," and I'm always like, "Oh, no, thank you."
No, I'm all right.
I'll pass.
You know what? He wants head. That's what he wants. He's trying to pull the head off.
Yeah. I can see him doing a skit where he pulls on head and head just comes all the way off.
Oh my God.
I knew that was going to happen sometime.
Dang it, head.
One of these times.
Dang it. We'll close out with a couple more super chats here. Maddie asked this one. I know we've talked about this man before, but see if you got maybe another story. New Jack stories would have been a mad tag team. You and New Jack together would have been pretty damn over. But we talked about the one with Brian Pillman, I know, and him punching, oh my gosh, Junkyard Dog. But any other New Jack stories coming?
Any other New Jack stories?
He come up on me.
Right.
Yeah.
He come up on me. Well, there was, I might have even already told you this, even though it's not the kind of thing that you really share normally on a podcast, but there was in the early ECW days, we stayed at the Travel Lodge in Philadelphia, and it was a round building. So if you kept going down the hallway, you would just go in circles.
Yeah.
Right? And man, like 4 floors would be just filled with pot smoke, and other rooms people would be drinking, other rooms doing coke, whatever. It was just like a nonstop like party throughout several floors after the shows. Anyway, the fans back then would party with the wrestlers. They knew where we all stayed. They would show up, sometimes bring alcohol or party favors. And it was like that kind of environment where fans and wrestlers partied together. That was the early ECW. There was one girl that always had like an RVD sign. She was a big fan of mine. And one time she gave me a teddy bear that's wearing a karate outfit.
Oh.
Yeah. And I thought it was like really cool, right?
Yeah.
And so I kept it. I kept it not thinking that was, any tie to her or, I don't want to be rude. Let's just say she wasn't my type. Let me just leave it at that.
Sure.
But the groupies would all be in one room. There was one girl that was, I think one girl was like 14. At least that's what they said she was. And she'd be there with her mom.
What?
And some of the boys would bang her too. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Damn, man, that sounds crazy right now. I'm unlocking these caverns in my mind to try and remember the rest of the story here. But anyway, I was her favorite wrestler. She was one of those that would always be like in the front row, one of the regular current ones. And one time she fell asleep in a room that everybody was in, and New Jack peed on her.
Oh my God.
That's my story.
Wait, so he peed on the girl that gave you a teddy bear?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He come up and peed on me.
Yeah, that was another strike. Another reason, that for me to feel like I didn't really care for the guy that much.
You didn't really connect vibe with New Jack.
Yeah. Yeah. But now I'm better. Just meeting on common ground with a lot of different people that you don't have everything in common with, especially if you have to.
Yeah.
or if you want to, but especially if you have to. So, you know, like, but I mean, you know, like a lot of giving New Jack a break and saying, well, you know, he did seem like a violent gangster, but if you want to say a lot of that was just character, okay, but what's peeing on a girl? He peed on her in front of other people, fans, wrestlers, while she was sleeping. So I don't know. Never
Did she
been.
wake up? Do you know if she woke up or was it?
I don't know.
Man, that would be something.
If
Imagine
she's
waking up.
watching, join the chat room. Did you wake up from
Did you
that?
wake up? If
You
you're out there,
woke up in the morning and said, "What's that smell?" Yeah.
man, what a wrestling experience that would be, having New Jack pee on you. Hey, real quick, we got to do a little advertising. First off, let me promote Only Wrestlers right there. Go to onlywrestlers.com. And Rob, I looked. That roster is filling up, man. You got 18 pages of wrestlers that you can go.
Every day
Yeah.
we're getting more wrestlers, and there's still a bunch that haven't got around to filling out. Oh, Lovey wants to say hi.
Lovey's here too.
Baby, come here.
Oh, there's
Little
Lovey.
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 Little love, Papa.
Baby. The baby.
I was telling them how you can watch TV. Can you see yourself?
She might.
Yeah, you probably can. You're so smart.
She's very attuned to everything.
No,
Yeah.
can't play right now, silly. What was I talking about?
Only wrestlers we're talking.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's filling up. It's growing, and we're stoked. You know, like starting to plan next phase and actually start thinking about the live shows and stuff. But in the meantime, a lot of wrestlers are still a lot of them are doing the content, a lot of them aren't yet.
Mhm.
And we just came up with this idea: the wrestlers that aren't doing content yet, let's put their prices at zero. That way, if fans want to follow them, and then they can be notified when they do start doing content and set their price or whatever, and then they can stay or not stay. So we just made that genius move couple days ago, and our community chat room is still not up yet, but should be very soon. And that's when we can all talk to each other, which we can't yet. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And every once in a while, when I'm being interviewed for Only Wrestlers, somebody will be like really excited, like they really get it, you know, and they're like, "Man, this is so cool that you're doing this." And so it's a project that has a lot of good energy behind it.
Heck yeah. There's some names already up on there. If you guys, like Rob said, there's some free ones you can subscribe to, like Rob and like Katie. And I saw that not almost said New Jack. Just Incredible's up on there. I saw he's up on there now too. So yeah, there's a extreme roster showing up, but there's a lot of newer folks that you can subscribe to and check out too. So it's a cool platform. If you're a wrestler, be sure to sign up and get an account made on there. If you're a fan, you can get an account and sign up on there too, and have a referral code and all that stuff. So that comes in handy too. So be sure to check all that out.
We're still giving the incentives for referrals. So
yeah,
you get someone else to sign up with your referral code, then you get 5% of everything they spend for 12 months. So
how about that?
Spend or make, depending on if they're a user or creator, I guess.
Heck yeah, I can't beat that. Also, guys, if you like, you want to smoke with RVD, I know a lot of people smoke while they tune into the podcast and everything like that. You can go to rvd420.com. That is, I hope I'm pointing the right. Yes, far across from me, diagonal from Rob. Go to rvd420.com. I can't point right, but
see it.
It's right above you. If you look to your right, up top.
Oh, this one.
Yes, that's the logo there. rvd420.com. That's Greek Glass. You can go to greekglass.com too if need be. But you get that RVD merch. Look at our Rob flexing. He's flexing on the glassware up there. And you can check it out. There's some cool stuff on there for sure. So be sure to support that. And, hey, you can smoke with RVD in a very one-of-a-kind way. Also, speaking of which, you can dress in a one-of-a-kind way. If you go to 1tsport.com, you can see that we have a crew neck RVD sweater that's new and available. Classic ECW style of RVD. We have a dragon shirt, too, that you can check out. There's several other merchandise, hats, tank tops, mug that you can get to. So go to 1tsport.com and check out the RVD collection. There's also, we got the original Sheik up there. We got Sabu up there. We got Fonzie. Lots of good names. Blue Meanie's up there too for ECW. So be sure to check that out. And finally, we have a sponsor this week that I am a fan of, and it is Via. It is Via. Let's see here. I really liked it. I have so they do CBD gummies. They do THC gummies as well. I've taken the Flow State, and those are great. Those are CBD, but they kind of elevate your mind a little bit and get you amped up. So I'm a big fan of those. But they have a lot of THC ones that you can do. You can like I said, what I like about Via is all that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend that stuff. And you can there's a stuff that you can do is this holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via on our description. For a limited time during the holidays, get this, Via is offering 25% off site-wide, plus up to 50% off of select items and bundle. If you're hearing this ad post sale, you can still save by using code RVD. That's code RVD for 25% off. So now is the time to strike for this stuff. After your purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Oh, that's the copy that I'm not supposed to read. But just tell them that we sent you there. This is the holiday season. Enhance your everyday with Via. Be sure to check it out. Promo code RVD. Use the link below in the description that we have there that's available for you right now. And support the show, guys. Support the show. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to promote. Be sure to like, subscribe the podcast. Give us 5 stars, whether that's on Spotify or iTunes, and have a good time that way. Be sure to subscribe, too, to RVD's YouTube channel at The Real RVD. You can get new episodes of this show every week, every Monday at 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on rvdtv.com. So be sure to like, subscribe, support the show in that manner, too. Rob, do you want to do an RVDology this week?
Well, first off, I want to say that I like this comment that Matthew the Celt, right?
Oh, the Celt? Yes.
Anyway, he says no wrestling legend should ever have to crowdfund for medical bills. This is genius. I assume that he's talking about only wrestlers, and like if, let's say, I don't know, so and so, let's name some random wrestler. Who do we want to hurt?
Let's beat up Brian Cage. Let's beat up Brian Cage.
Oh, God forbid! God forbid Brian Cage breaks his leg, and then let's say he doesn't have insurance, and now he gets stuck with bills, and because of the timing, because he had to pay for his sick kid and his house and a bunch of shit at the same time, he ends up being broke and he can't work, and they fuck him over. Instead of doing a GoFundMe, they could literally open an account, and then fans that want to help could actually contribute, and he could actually keep in touch with them as much or as little as he wants, and be like, hey, I'm in the hospital. I'm halfway recouping. I can only leg press 8,000 pounds right now. So I got a long way to go. But I assume that's what they're meaning. And that's I haven't thought of it from that angle, but
no, that's a really interesting way. Like, no, the talk has been Dutch Mantel. I know he was recovering from something, and he got, he had to do a GoFundMe basically, and then he got big time support from a lot of different names, from Jim Cornette to Tony Khan, Jericho. There was a lot of names that threw in a lot of good money. So, yeah,
he's not doing well, right? Is he? What's his deal?
So I don't know exactly what he was going through. I know him and his wife both had a health situation, and they were.
That's all I know.
Yeah. Now he's back doing his show, so
Oh,
thankfully he's on the up end of it all from what it seems. So
okay.
big prayers out to Dutch and hope he's doing okay. He's got a great mind for the business, obviously, and is made an impact for. But yeah,
I'm
so
gonna comment on a show that I think the whole thing was a scam for him to get paid just to promote our show.
hey, okay, I like that.
Give a little attention.
That's what I'm going to make a YouTube clip. Is like
Yeah,
Dutch's podcast.
that's bullshit. You pocketed that money. You spent $32.99 on some mustache oil so you could do this.
Mhm.
Of it you pocketed.
You pocketed all that.
8-ball center pocket.
That's it. So, yep. Best wishes to Dutch, and I always hate seeing that when wrestlers too, and like names that are like prominent and stuff like that. It's kind of surprising and a bummer too that the way the whole ecoscape of our society is set up that you got to crowdfund to get help. It's kind of a bummer. So
yeah, all right. What was it you were talking about?
So my idea was like, hey,
Yeah,
Linda McMahon's in the news because she's the Secretary of Education that supposedly that's going to be for Trump and everything like that. And I was thinking like, man, you think about how election season went down, and I'm very apolitical when it comes to stuff, but people are very divided when it comes to everything like that. And I thought maybe you could give a pretty good RVDology and how to keep those things in perspective and keep people together when they have such a divisive thing like politics get involved in their social interactions. So
yeah. Well, let's talk about that for a minute.
yeah,
The politics is weird because people feel so strongly about their beliefs. I would say politics and religion, and maybe even in that order, where people feel very strongly about their religion, about what the Bible says. They want you to know whatever. But with politics, they feel like maybe they feel like by talking about it that they can help make a change. I don't know. Otherwise, I think like when it comes to who just won and will be our future president, that's one of those things where I look at it like, can I do anything about it? No, then don't worry about it.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people feel like, well, their one vote is going to count. And I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying that for everyone to be so divided, they break a rule of RVDology. And that rule is this: I try to never be unshakably sure, because then I don't have an open mind anymore on this subject, whatever it is we're talking about. If I'm so sure, if I'm positive that fucking pillow is orange,
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna fucking convince me otherwise. Then well, obviously that's not very open-minded about that. And you might say, but why would you want to be open-minded about that? Well, I have picked a couple of colors wrong in the last week. I have a shirt that I thought was like yellow, and I find out it's actually orange. And like Katie said it, someone else said it, so I'm asking everybody. We went out and I'm asking the waitress, what color is my shirt? It's not orange and black, or it's yellow and black, whatever it is. I thought it was green, I think, and yellow, and the green is black. And anyway, I don't believe that you should be unshakably sure, because you have to keep an open mind. And are you positive 100% positive that Saturday night you're gonna go and do your plans, whatever you got planned, because you can't really be that sure that you're even gonna be alive tomorrow. I mean, people are gonna die. Thousands of people are gonna die. And for them, are they positive, absolutely sure that Saturday they're going into the city, or they're going shopping, or they're going camping, or whatever the fuck they're doing? They're gonna sign up with only wrestlers. They can't know for sure. And the reason that I think it's important to have that perspective is, one, you're keeping it real with yourself.
Mhm.
And two, you're keeping at least a mind open enough to consider other possibilities, because when you don't have that, then you just got a stubborn, closed mind. So with politics, people are so damn sure that they're right, and that their whole half of the right wing or left wing, they're so positive that all of their beliefs are correct, that they think everyone on the other side, which is almost half of the fucking population, they think that all of those people are absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an answer to the equation of dividing up a whole into two halves. Then what is it? It's 50%. What are you gonna do? I don't know if there's a coming together that's possible with some point, but it doesn't seem like it with certain things that are just opposite views, and there's conservative views that I feel like conservative means they want to hold us back, and they want to keep us back, like to the opposite of being like advanced and high paced and fast. For me is that. So whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, conservatives are people that I think want to keep the past going and not move that fast. I don't even know what the opposite of that would be. I mean, because it's not about Democrat and Republic, but I think there's a belief that's like, whoa. Let's stay back, and we built this foundation of this country off the Bible. That's playing God if you want to do birth control or abortions. God doesn't want you to do that. And I feel like there's certain views that hold that back. The further back you go, the more prejudiced people were, obviously, the less rights people had. And so I think there's a belief that hold progress back. And then there's a progressive, and I guess that would be the opposite word, view, that's like, boom, let's go ahead and move forward and see what we can do, what we can accomplish. Let's get technical, advance human society. But at the same time, when it comes down to how that affects the presidential situation, man, they wanted to kill Trump. They tried to shoot him. Was it 3 times?
Yeah, I think it was 3 attempts at least. I think that happened.
Because what? Did they think he's the devil? I don't know. I mean, that should fall in. Look, Trump's president. Anyone that's watching, once he takes office, put this in the category of something you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you go and get a gun and try and take him out, then you're not realizing this is something that's happening. It's not something that you should feel like you have ability to change. But yeah, I just think no matter what, even like in my strongest beliefs, you can shake my certainty on a lot of things. Maybe more than I might not let on, but I might be thinking of a bit like, damn, is that pillow yellow? And a lot of times I am wrong. You know, that happens a lot, and I wouldn't even know if I was so busy defending myself and my response, just because that's instinctive to be like, I'm right, no, you're wrong. And in reality, I'm never sure that I'm right. You know, I might know some facts, be like, no, I'm pretty sure there's, you know, whatever. I remember a friend of mine talking about the billions of people in America, and I was like, well, bro, there's not billions of people in America, right? There's not. There's only like between 7 and 8 billion in the whole planet. He goes, no, there's not. He goes, there's billions here, right? And there's hundreds of billion. I'm like, bro, no. But if he would have, I knew and I was positive, but I would never feel like I'm 100%. You know, let me put it this way: I would never bet my life on something if there's a chance that I could be wrong. And that's a perspective that I like to take, and that doesn't allow me to get behind something as non-productive and non-conducive to my daily agenda, like trying to convince people that they're insane for not believing what I believe. I don't back that up. You know, people that think everyone that doesn't believe what they believe is absolutely crazy. I think that's nuts. And like I said, the way that I put it, don't be unshakably certain if there's a chance that you could be wrong. A lot of people think it's better to keep going down the wrong road instead of admit that you made a wrong turn and turn around. I'm not one of those people. You know, if you're wrong and you can still turn around and fix it and go back, that's better than continuing down the wrong road and telling everyone they're crazy for telling you that you're doing anything better than other than what you're supposed to be doing. That's not a productive way to be, and it's not RVDology.
Ooh, I like it, Rob. I like it. I know so much of that you cannot control when it comes to, you know, the who gets in office, what happens, who's in control. I always think about the George Carlin thing. It's like one big party and you ain't in it. Like that's the kind of aspect of it all. And it's just like, yeah, he's right. You know, what are you gonna do? That's it.
They decide that at the Bilderberg meetings. I don't know if you ever watched those.
I've heard about that. Yes.
Yeah.
And those are very close.
You can YouTube Bilderberg meetings and see the world leaders meeting in privacy for these big pre-election rituals.
Ooh, man. Yeah.
Anyway.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, crazy stuff. And it's so fascinating too how politics ties into wrestling in certain ways, where like Trump's been involved, WWE Hall of Famer Trump, 2 people in power this coming term will have gotten stone cold stunnered, Linda McMahon and Donald Trump. How about that?
How about that? Nice trivia question.
Nice little trivia question. Rob, so we have, this might be our record number. We have almost 10,500 people tuning in. So
wow,
there's some word you want to get out. Anything you want to say to the people tuning in right now, whether it's promoting something or whatever, Rob. Hammer it out before
everybody sign up on Only Wrestlers. We'll have 10,000 more people, 10,500 people.
Yeah.
Bam, just like that.
Mm-hmm. There we go. OnlyWrestlers.com.
But I will just carry on a little bit just to further the point, even though I've said it a lot. I don't like to I think that being so positive almost can be ignorant, because I'm always like, yeah, but what if?
Yeah.
And so for me, like, even if I know it's Thursday, but if you know, back and forth and you say, no, dude, Thursday was yesterday, you know, I probably will start wondering, because a lot of times I don't know what day it is anyway. It's not one of my strong points, but I'm trying to think of something that I would really stand behind and be like, fuck no, there's no way. Which obviously, you know, I know Katie's my wife. I'm certain of that, you know, and there's things like that, but you got to be selective about what you believe in. And that's something I want to talk about another time too, is can we choose what we believe, or is believing just the result of our values and our intelligence? And then, you know, looking for an answer, solution, boom.
Ooh, that's a good
You know?
discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people go, I choose to believe he's still alive. If you really think he's alive, I don't think you choose to. I think it makes the most sense to you based on what you know and how you interpret that with your own processing.
Okay. I wrote that down, so maybe we can talk about that next
Cool. All right. All right, cool, dude.
Cool.
Yeah, another week at home, I believe. Yeah, gonna be home. Oh yeah, got stuff to do, but not public stuff. So looking forward to. I hate the cold, dark this time of year. You know, it's
Does it affect you? Do you get kind of bummed out and stuff?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I get it too.
Yeah, so I do want to tell the 10,500 people, dude, I've always, every year I say it's depressing because it gets colder, the days get shorter, it's darker. I just want to go to bed earlier just to waste the day and get through with it sometimes. And people that are prone to depression, or people that aren't even normally prone, you know, they could start feeling it and not even realizing that all these symptoms that I just mentioned are already going to point you in that direction. So it don't take much more added on to that to where you feel like your days are shit. So let's all stick together and make it through, and look forward to spring.
And
We'll get there together.
When you get in that mindset too, I know, like, you know, to you listeners out there, it's like when you feel like not doing anything and it's dark out and it's dreary out, force yourself to do something, whether it's, I don't know, like clean your house or do something, because you'll do a little bit of production and it'll completely change your mindset on stuff a lot more times often than not sometimes. So.
Easier said than done, but I believe it too. Being productive is releases dopamine in your brain, and then it makes you feel good and makes you feel more worthy by being productive. And so that's definitely something too. But what you do, it's easy to focus on reasons to be depressed. It really is. But don't let yourself do that. Instead, try to focus more on good things, because we could drive ourselves crazy thinking and focusing on certain things that are always there, you know, death, you know, there's certain things you can always go to if you really want to bring yourself down. But otherwise, you know, just all the stuff that comes with every day, you know, take it on the chin when you have to, and when you can, enjoy it, you know, and try and focus on the good stuff, the happy stuff. Dude, I watched Sopranos. I rewatched the entire 5 or 6 seasons.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it so much that at the end I got sad. Like at the very end, after the diner, after it went dark, I was kind of like,
where's Tony at?
why am I crying? But it was just like, oh no, what am I gonna watch now? Like that killed like 100 hours of my gym time. It was great.
Did you like the ending in retrospect of The Sopranos?
No.
No?
Not really. Not really, no.
Yeah. I know. I was okay with it, but I knew what happened. Like, so I watched it like maybe when I was still in Philly, so almost 10 years ago I watched the show. But when I knew it was coming, it didn't hit me as hard. So I was like, I can kind of get what the guy was getting at with the thing going out. But but if I was watching it live and like when it happened, I'd have been pretty pissed, I think.
Oh, there's a lot of YouTube articles or videos or whatever where I read the headlines, and it'll be like, who killed Tony? Who killed Tony? But whoever said that Tony even got killed, though, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Yeah, that's it.
But I did hear some video with the guy, David Chase, was that his name?
Yeah, David Chase, exactly. Yep.
He was saying that originally he envisioned the last scene being, you know how Tony goes, it shows Tony coming home from New York to New Jersey at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun. He says he was going to get called to a meeting in New York, and the last footage was going to be him going from New Jersey towards New York, and he was going to get whacked there.
Whoa, that'd been neat too, man.
Which still could have happened after the diner. Nothing necessarily happened in the diner.
Yeah, nothing was definitive for sure.
Yeah.
You know? Have you watched The Wire?
No, I know it's good, right?
Yeah, you should watch that next.
I wonder, maybe.
Ooh, there's some good stuff in that one. Yeah.
Feds on the mob or
so it's Baltimore.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Based on the police department there, the dirty bastards. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good show. I didn't.
Seasons?
Yeah, I think it's 5. I never watched the final season, so I have to still do that. But what they do is pretty. I like it. It's great characters.
Everybody tells me that, so I think it's probably good.
Yeah, it's a good, and that's David Chase too, I believe. So.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know that.
And that guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're almost at 11,000.
But just before we move on, I got to say, like, there's so many references. Rewatching it, there's so many references that are brought up in the movie that Saints of Newark.
Okay, do you like that? I've never seen that movie.
Oh, well, yeah, I was a Sopranos fan, so I liked it. It
it
wasn't like real special, but now rewatching it, there's always more shit you pick up every time, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, like, they're talking one time, who's in the car? Carmelo and Tony, but there's also somebody else. It might be Janice, but they're talking about when Tony's dad back in the day, when he was when he took the gun out and pointed it at his wife's head when she was nagging and pulled the trigger and shot right through her hair. Well, they do that in the Saints of Newark.
Do they? Oh,
but they actually, I caught them talking about it in an episode, talking about it like it was a funny family story. But then Carmela brings it up later, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I knew you were going to bring that up." But yeah, there's a lot of references like that. They talk about things that happened back in the day, and they fucking put that in there. And I love that because it makes it more real.
It does. It does. Yeah. Oh man, I had so many good episodes. I like Pie Oh My with the horse. Oh man, so many. I like that intense scene where the therapist gets sexually assaulted, and then Tony is just like there. And she doesn't tell him, and you're like, tell him what happened. And Tony's like, you're just waiting for it to happen. It never happens, but it's just like, if Tony heard about that, he would have done something. I just like that aspect of it. Oh man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was just hoping he'd come back and get whacked.
Yeah, right. So
the rapist.
Great. Yeah, right. Man, what a great show. I love that show. I'm gonna watch it too again. All right. Hey, 11,000 people tonight. So we made it. How about that, guys? Thanks for
I feel obligated to them now. Now we got to stay out another hour.
Right? Right, 11,000. How about that? Dang. All right. Oh, wait. We got some. Seth is here. Here's a reason.
Seth, I said at the beginning of the show, if I was a dancer, I'd be dancing to a little bit higher.
That's it. Hey, thanks for the $10, Seth. What's up, guys? I meant to ask last week. Any Tony Mama Luke stories? I love that guy. He took some entertaining bumps. He must have unbreakable bones like Darby Allin. Andrew. Any Tony Mama Luke stories there, Rob? We talked about Guido.
Only one, but it's not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at the ECW arena 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I was there, when NXT was there.
Yeah.
He came up to me, Tony Mama Luke, and I said, "Hey, what's going on, Rob?" And shook my hand. I said, "Hey, Billy." And he walked away, and I'm like, "That's not Billy Kidman, is it?"
No.
And whoever I was talking to, I was like, dude, that's not Billy Kidman, is it? And he goes, no, it's Tony Mamaluke. I was like, oh. And I went over there, and I told him, Tony, I go, dude, I thought you were Billy Kidman. And he goes, of course you did. Everyone does.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he looked a lot like him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And Billy works. He's behind the scenes working there too.
Yeah.
It's an easy mistake.
But unfortunately, I don't remember any other stories, particularly of Tony Mamaluke. No, nothing really much to share there.
Yeah, I liked him too. I thought he added a good element to the FBI and stuff. Another show. Have you ever seen The Shield on FX?
I don't think so.
Ooh, that's a good one too, Rob. That's with Michael Chiklis, and that's LA Police. And they talk about corruption there and how he kind of plays. It's such a really, really, really good show. And
I'm not sure. Maybe I did see it.
Yeah, that really set the tone. That was one of the first shows that kind of took off and made these kind of shows like Breaking Bad and Sopranos and everything like that. They really set that show really kind of propelled a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. I think I did used to watch that, but I can't really remember who else was in it.
Walton Goggins, if you know who he is, he's in the what's that show?
Wizard of Oz?
Not Wizard of Oz. That'd be great though.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. You nailed it. Yeah. He's Vice Principals. Did you ever see that on fucking HBO? That comedy with Kenny Powers. He's in Vice Principals. He was in Justified, which is another great show. You should watch that. That's based off of Almost Letters.
Too many.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there it is. Justified. That's what Mike Sweeney said. That's a great show you should watch. Is Justified, Rob. That's a good one.
Wow. Well, that's too many. I normally don't have time for fiction, but I probably will check out Wire just to change the answer when everyone asks me if I've seen it. Yeah. Everyone is like, dude, you would love it. Sorry. Just to change my answer.
Yeah, just to mix it up a little bit. I'm with you on that. Well, cool. Hey, man, this was a great show, Rob. We did it justice. We got 11,000 people in over 2 hours. So how about that?
How about that?
Great show.
All right, dude. Yeah, just hang in there, everybody. It's gonna get colder. It's gonna get darker, but then it'll get better.
Find some solace in some staying warm.
Day coming up.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be like in Alaska.
Yeah. Eat some good turkey. Yeah. Spend some time with family, friends, your pets. Have a good time, everybody. We'll get through this.
Stay indoors.
Watch The Sopranos.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. All right, dude. I'm good. Good till next week.
All right. Yes, guys. We'll see you next week here on One of a Kind.
Thanks, Van Dam fam. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
All right. Thanks, dude.